Well, thank you, Chair Wyden and Ranking Member Crapo, for this hearing, and thank you, Chief Magnus, for 42 years of service in public safety and for your willingness to serve in this critical role as Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And thank you as well to your family, because this kind of service is a family effort, so I appreciate their sacrifice too. I want to start with a question on border and immigration enforcement. On September 30th, 2021, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas issued a memo containing guidelines for border and immigration enforcement. The Secretary's memo provides guidance not only to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, the agency you've been nominated to lead, but also to Immigration and Customs Enforcement and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. In his memo, the Secretary stated that threats to national security, public safety, and border security would be priorities for border and immigration enforcement. Chief, we talked a little bit about this during our one-on-one meeting. Do you agree that individuals charged with serious crimes, not just those with prior convictions, can pose a threat to public safety? And do you agree it's important that DHS personnel have the discretion to detain individuals who are a threat to security or public safety?
Senator, thank you for the question, and no question, if we're looking at this from a public safety standpoint, the answer has to be yes.
Thank you. Now on to an issue of counter-narcotics, part of the very important CBP mission. As we discussed during our private meeting, the substance misuse epidemic is ravaging my state of New Hampshire. It's ravaging your state of Arizona and communities all across the country. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has an important role in disrupting international drug smuggling operations and interdicting the flow of drugs and money across the U.S. border. Transnational criminal organizations are adapting and exploiting predictable procedures at U.S. borders. They use rail transportation, pedestrians, unmanned aerial vehicles, and even submersible vessels to smuggle drugs into the United States. Chief Magnus, as a police chief of a border community, how have you prioritized and fought drug organizations undermining your community? And if confirmed to lead CBP, what would you do to fight international drug trafficking?
Senator, thank you very much for the question, and you're touching on an issue here that is really near and dear to my heart, because so many members of our community in Tucson, not to mention across the state and country, have died as a result of opioid overdoses. I think this battle has to be fought on multiple fronts. Yeah. I will tell you, in Tucson, we have a collaborative effort called the Counter-Narcotics Alliance that involves not only state and local partners, but our federal partners as well. And I think this type of collaboration is essential. But I think we also have to use every available means at our ports of entry where we know the great majority of these drugs are coming across, to use technology and other resources more effectively to address these drugs. And then there's the area, and I think it was touched on previously, related to e-commerce, where we know that there are many opioids and precursors of such that are coming through these small packages, and many times through the Postal Service because of relationships that are complicated involving China. And so this is an area I know where Senator Portman and others have put a good deal of work into the STOP Act. Yep. And CBP plays an important role in enforcing that act. So as I said, there are a whole series of ways in which we can, I think, always do more to address this scourge.
Well, thank you. And I was going to ask you about the importance of new technologies on the border, and you've touched on that. And I just will ask you, please, if you are confirmed, to please let Congress know if there are additional resources or technology that CBP needs to strengthen border security, because I think that's going to be critically important, especially in the counter-narcotics mission.
Thank you, Senator. I will do that.
Okay, thank you. One last topic. CBP has two important missions: securing the U.S. border from dangerous people and goods and facilitating the legitimate flow of commerce and travel. I was pleased that the administration finally heeded my calls and those of others to end the travel restrictions at the Canadian border, which is going to help New Hampshire's economy rebound. The reopening of the Canadian border to vaccinated individuals is an important and long overdue step. Chief, your background in law enforcement, including your time in a border community, makes you well suited for the security mission of CBP. But how familiar are you with CBP's important trade mission, and how will you prioritize and manage that mission?
Senator, thank you for the question. And you're correct, not only in my time growing up in Michigan, but also in the 6.5 years I spent in North Dakota, where where the cross-border traffic to Canada is also essential for a whole host of reasons, causes me to believe that this is going to continue to be very important, even as perhaps the laws and rules change regarding Title 42. So whether it's appropriate staffing to address these issues, other factors that need to be considered, I'm very committed to this cross-border traffic and trade.
Thank you.